Thank you so much for having me. So let's just begin with our stuff. With all the whenever I'm giving a talk somewhere, or whenever I'm presenting something, so I just like to keep a little motivational thing, or some tips regarding general life in the beginning of my talk. So here is one good sentence for you to apply. That this sentence that you're seeing right now, it's not really easy to apply in real life, but if you do it, it will be very very beneficial for you in ways that you cannot even imagine. So sorry, whatever happens with you, whether it's good, it's bad, it's ugly, you should blame it for yourself. So you should understand that whatever is happening to you right now, it is some result of your actions that you have done in the past. So yeah, I know sometimes it you don't understand. Sometimes I also don't understand that this happened with me. Like how am I to blame for that? But even if you do that, if you start blaming yourself for that as well, so then you'll obviously improve the whole aura very to a very good extent. So that's some little motivation. So I'm here today to deliver something on security. I have delivered some talks on security before as well, but every time I deliver the same topic, I try to add some more stuff to that. So I hope some I wish that you understand whatever new things I have added to it. So the people who are taking this for the second time, they will have a lot of new stuff to understand. So let's begin by introducing a little about myself. So I was also already introduced regarding Flutter Karachi, regarding becoming a GDE from Pakistan. So currently, I'm working in VentureDive as a senior Flutter developer, and I have completed my bachelor's and a master's from local universities in Pakistan and Karachi. And I am currently leading Flutter Karachi, which is a global community recognized by Google. So this is one of the communities that was started by us a few years ago. So that's all about Flutter Karachi and me. Okay, so let's just begin about security. So to understand what security is like, consider it as food. So if you skip one meal, or if you skip two meals, you won't get hurt, or you might get hurt a little, but you won't die eventually. But it is actually like food. You need to take it regularly. You need to take it in different forms, in different kinds, at different times, and in different ways. If you don't do that, you won't die eventually. You won't die ultimately, like immediately, but you will die eventually. So if you stop taking food for a very long period of time, you might die. So this is all about security. You don't, you know, see its impact in immediate short terms, but if you don't care about it for longer, you will get affected very badly. So it is purely like food. I could not get any other better example of explaining security in one sentence, that it's just like food. So you won't get affected in short term. You will come to know in a very long term that, oh, it's the security, that I'm not taking any food right now, so it's affecting me now. Okay, so in this session, I'll just tell you some motivation, some introduction about Flutter, that what Flutter is, how fast it is, and things like that. So you guys probably already have you know gone through it in previous talks as well, but I'll just go through it in quick 2 minutes. Then I will tell you some security tips, and then I'll show you some code snippets as well. So in security, so one thing I just wanted to clear right now, that this whole session is has nothing to do with implementing security features in Flutter. So it's just about telling you guys what security features can you implement in Flutter and how to do them. I won't show you actually how it's done. I won't show you how. I won't show you any live code. I won't show you like implementing things on a simulator or code. But I'll just tell you things that you can do, and I'll refer you to things that you can do, and I'll obviously show some code snippets as well. which will help you out to understand how to implement security in Flutter. So mostly in this session, you will come across a lot of uh, new terms which you might not know before, and you will get to know that how to implement them in Flutter. I'll also tell some things that are not related to Flutter, but they are related to mobile development security. So you will get through all those as well. So let's just begin. So first, Flutter. There are a lot of definitions given by a lot of people in Flutter. So one good definition that I came across by learning Flutter, by using it, so that I devised this sort of definition for Flutter using the word literal. So whenever we talk about cross-platform, we always used to think about Android and iOS. So I just explored Flutter a little, and then I thought that this is actually cross-platform. This is not just Android iOS. So I just put this word literal behind it, and I just devised this definition of literal cross-platform UI toolkit. So it's for web, it's for desktop, it's for Windows, Linux, iOS, Mac OS, and Android, and embedded as well. So this is all a little definition about my own definition about Flutter. So it's blazingly fast. It's fast because it runs on GPU, obviously, and games also run on GPU. So therefore, it's really fast. It paints its own UI on its graphics engine on Skia, and therefore it's really performant. And it does not go to the native architecture and then build the UI there. So it builds its own UI over the layers. So its hot reload is actually less than 400 milliseconds, and I was really surprised that it was actually it was actually implemented as advertised. So it's really cool. I have myself experienced that. Okay, so this number 57%. So this number is critical, and this number is really important because this is the number of the digital media time that is spent on mobile devices. So a normal person spends 57% of the time on mobile devices of the digital time. So like digital time means on laptop, on television, on all the digital sources that we have. More than half of that time is spent on mobile phones. So the reason that I'm telling you this is why it's important to secure mobile apps, because more than half of your users time is spent there. So you need to care about security there. So you always, if just an example, that you are doing all the payments through your mobile apps, you are surfing the internet through your mobile apps, you are taking food reviews, you are traveling through mobile apps. So all of that data is really critically important to you. So you don't want to lose them, and don't want your users to lose them. So therefore this whole security thing is really important, and it does not seem, but it's really important. First and foremost thing, your Flutter version should be upgraded to the latest thing, and it should be on the stable channel. If you're using production level apps, you need to stay on stable channel, because the Flutter team itself has production ready things in stable version. If you are using beta or master, there might be some bugs that may leave you vulnerable to things that you might not want in your production apps. So you need to be very clear about this, that you need to have your whole Flutter repo to the stable channel, and you need to keep upgrading it regularly in order to keep your apps secure in a very nominal way. Okay, so the second thing that comes into mind is authentication. How do you authenticate users? How do you know that the user coming to your app is actually a user and not somebody else, or not the one that you don't desire? So the best thing that you can do is you can use Google Sign-in along with Firebase Auth. These are the best combo that you can use in your Flutter app. But obviously, you won't. Sorry, excuse me. So obviously you might not want to use Firebase or Google or things like that in all of your apps. So I'll also tell you how you there is a mechanism called auth 2 tokenization if you're using some other backend written on some REST API or some SOAP API. So you can use that auth 2 tokenization in order to let your backend know that the person that is hitting it is actually the one who is allowed to do that. So you can use that as well. So the best thing is you should use sign in using Google or using any authentication mechanism and using Firebase along with it. So it is a very good combo in securing your apps. You don't need to worry about that then. Okay, so the second thing is shared preferences. Shared preferences are a part of your app where you can store your data that keeps your data persistent when your app is killed. Mind it, you should not keep your plain passwords or pins inside your shared preferences because that is readable through other apps, through code, and that can be cleared as well by the user themselves. So you should not store state plain passwords or pins in your shared preferences. In worst case, if you even want to store something that is critical to you in your shared preferences, then you should use encryption and you should encrypt that thing and then store it so that if even if you it gets exploited, it does not affect you. In shared preferences, you can keep things like theme data or some tokens that are used to get the user data from the backend, or some tokens that tell you that whether the app is installed the first time or not, or things like that. The things that you keep that you want to keep to check the persistence of the app. So you can use that. And there is this link, this small link that you can go and you can find the shared preferences pubdev packages. And this is a two-line code that you can use to store your data and you retrieve your data. So you just call the shared preferences instance, and then you use that instance to set and get things. So there are a lot of functions, set in, set string, and set map as well. So you can use any of what you want. The second good thing is that you should uh, keep on flushing your in-memory cache if you are building something very critical and very secure like banking apps. So the most secure thing in Flutter, in any app, in any mobile development technology, the most secure way of storing something that is coming to you from some backend or some database is in memory, because in memory it clears as soon as you kill the app. So it's not stored anywhere. It's fetched on runtime and stored in a runtime variable, which gets cleared on when the app is killed. So the most secure thing that you can use to store data or tokens or things like that is in memory, the variables that you use inside your app during the runtime. But even if you want an added layer of security on that, so you can use this small code that you can see right now here. You can use this code to flush your memory after a particular time slot that you want. So for suppose I'm using a banking application, and my app goes to background and I'm using some other app, so the app is in background for like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So that in that case, that might be vulnerable, that some other app or some other script might be able to read your in memory variables, go and read them and things like that. So you can flush your in memory cache after 2 minutes, after 3 minutes of inactivity. So you can do that. So this code actually tells you when app is paused, so you just uh, check for 15 minutes and then clear the cache. Okay. The second thing is a local auth. Local auth is the fingerprint and the face ID that is inside your mobile's hardware. So one thing that I want to clear, that I faced in one of the use cases as well, that uh, people just think that they can fetch the fingerprint from the fingerprint reader. That's wrong. You cannot do that. The OS doesn't allow you. You cannot fetch fingerprint signature. You cannot fetch uh, face ID signature. You cannot fetch finger touch ID from iOS or Android. You cannot fetch the signatures of that. That's restricted by OS. That is identity theft. You cannot do that, and the OS doesn't allow you. The only things that OS allows you to do is when you check for fingerprint, it tells you that the applied fingerprints it's true or not. That's the only thing that you get. So in this code that you see right now, it's also taking a bool, and it's asking the user to implement touch ID or face ID, and then it tells you that the applied face or the applied touch is actually correct within the owner of the phone, that the fingerprint that is scheduled, you know that is stored in the phone, is that the same fingerprint or not. That's the only thing that you get. So you can use this package and you can go and implemented simple small code. Permissions. Okay, so previously, whenever you are coding in any platform, so whenever you are about to open up a camera, or you are about to fetch location, or you are about to do anything that's that is using some hardware of the phone, so you need to take permissions from the user that you want to allow it or not. So the best way to do is that whatever packages you are using, so they should be authorized, and they should be they should be popular enough and secure enough. So what the benefit of using the packages is that the packages in their embedded code ask for permissions. So you don't need to explicitly ask for permission before accessing a camera plugin, because the camera plugin for you does that. So it's highly recommended that you use packages that are already there, because those packages have embedded the permissions within themselves. Even then, if you have to get a permission from user through your own code, then you can use this permission package that you can see. So you can use this, and you can get the permissions from user. There are some other level of permissions as well, which you put in config files. Config files means info plist files in iOS and Android manifest in Android. So there are some things that you need to put in those files as well to get to get things working. So you can just go around and look into that. So you'll get it, understand it. It's pretty much easy. Okay, so this is really cool. This is a really cool feature that I was exploring. So when your app is minimized, and you are rolling around into your other apps, so the snapshot of the last screen that you're standing on goes along with the minimized version. So you see like this, you can see the screen of your app in your minimized thing. So how to secure them? For suppose you have some card details here, and then you minimize your app, and then somebody scrolls in your minimized apps, and then he can see the card details and stuff like that. So how do you secure that? So there is simple 2-3 line codes which you can put in native Android and native iOS in order to stop this. So you might face some difficulties while putting these snippets in your native code, but you can if you come around any problem, so you can just Google them, and you will be able to do it. So these are the two simple lines which automatically blurs your screen, or puts a color on your whole screen whenever your app is in background. So you can do that. Okay, obfuscation. So one obfuscation is for a if you want to if I ever want to define obfuscation in layman terms, so it's like an ocean. It's enormous and it's non-understandable. So it's simply like an ocean. So basic definition of obfuscation is you make the code harder to read for reverse engineering. So what you do is you can pick up any APK file in Android, and you can dismantle it into files. So you can look at the code after you decompress the file, because it's all open source, and APK can be dismantled into all the files, and you can see the Java files, the code written in them. So what obfuscation does is it does not remove the code, it does not do anything to the code, it just changes the names of variables and the name of classes and the places and things like that. So it becomes harder for the human to read. Like an employee class might be renamed to an ABC. So the ABC thing, the user, the person who is reverse engineering your app, he might not be able to understand what ABC is, but the compiler obviously understands it because it has decoded it itself. So it's just basically making the code harder to read. You can obfuscate your Flutter apps using this simple tag dash dash obfuscate, and it will build your Flutter obfuscated APK. And you can also define rules in what to obfuscate and what not. So you can also omit some classes which you don't want to obfuscate, you want to keep them as it is. So you can do that, and you can go to this link, and you can just read how to obfuscate and what rules can you apply if you want to have some custom obfuscation. Okay, so these are the two main, two popular companies, or you can say products to obfuscate, and they're paid obviously. So one is ProGuard and one is R8. So you can use them, and I guess there are somewhat to little extent they are free, like they obfuscate something, but you need to buy them in order to go for custom things. Okay, so this is one more thing that I wanted to show you, and the iOS keychain and the Android key store. These are the two most secure things that you can use to store your data. They both are natively supported, and you can read their documentation on how to store them, how to store the things into iOS keychain and Android key store. So these are all the complicated algorithms run by the native thing itself, which picks up your package identifier, the com dot things like that, and it encrypts the data through that and through the APIs. And iOS, obviously, iOS also uses your provisioning profiles you made in the app store and the app specific passwords as well. So it combines all of that, and it then encrypts your data and then stores it inside itself, and it exposes its APIs so that you can use them. So it's pretty much a secure, and it's just a term that you can just go and fetch on Google, and you can just look around it, and you can how you can implement that. So one how in Flutter you can implement it using, hello, somebody is speaking. I heard some voice. Okay, so in Flutter you can use this Flutter secure storage package, which uses Android keychain, Android key store, and Apple iOS keychain within itself to store data. So you can use this plugin, and it exposes its APIs, and you can use it to secure your data. Some extra stuff, like I have 6 minutes remaining, so I'll just wrap it up. So just go to Google and search for these two things, SSL and TLS pinning. These are the ways that you use to make your backend know that whatever HTTPS connection is coming to it, it is actually the one which is allowed to do it. So what you do is the backend gives a key to the mobile app, and mobile app stores inside itself, and then it sends the key while hitting the HTTPS call. So server checks that the key that it gave to the user, whether the user has given the same key or not, because everyone cannot give the same key. It is only given to those apps which is put inside the app. So that is the whole brief thing about. It's very deep, but this is a little brief idea about SSL and TLS pinning. There is one package as well. You can use that, and you can go and put just understand and read about it. Always use HTTPS to communicate to the server. You can use HTTPS calls from Flutter using this HTTP Dart package. So this HTTP package allows you to make secure network calls to your backend, to your any REST API that you are creating. And always use encrypted keys in when you are using it inside your app. So like I just told you, that server gives you a key, and that key you store it inside your app. So you never store that key as it is inside your app's variable. You should encrypt it through some some algorithm. So there is a plugin in Flutter called Encrypt. You can just find it on PubDev, and you can just go there, and it allows you to encrypt your data in AES and MD5 and all of that. So you can do that, and you can encrypt your stuff before storing it into your local storage. Okay, so just wrapping it up, you need to understand this fact that nothing in this world is secure. You need to understand that. Today, I create a single app. It might be secure for today, but after 2 days, after 3 days, or after a year, it might not be secure. So the app that I'm creating today, that might be secure for today, but it might not be secure for tomorrow. So nothing in this world remains secure 100%. The only thing that you can do is adapt. So security, as I said, it's like food. You need to keep having it daily. So you need to keep having it regularly. You need to keep adapting to it. You cannot say that today you build an app and then it is secure for the rest of the lifetime. No, that is not the fact. So the example is, if there is something that was built 10 years ago, so you can crack it now, right, like in a split of a second. So that thing that was made 10 years ago, that was made to be secured in that particular period of time. So you need to keep adapting and keep updating yourself, and keep having food regularly. thank you so much. And this is my email. You can reach me out, and you can reach me out on LinkedIn as well and Twitter as well. I'm pretty much, you know, active there. And thank you so much. I guess, Avni, you can join back.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so
Waleed.
much.
Yeah, thank you very much because um, security is super. First of all, of course, obviously, it's super important topic. And another thing is that it is kind of complicated stuff. So it's not that you are a junior front end developer and you can create I don't know banking app. And
Yep.
yeah, so one of the questions are so what do you think from your experience, and you are kind of super experienced, is Flutter ready for full security applications? Can you imagine, I don't know, some financial application written in Flutter, or I don't know, some banking application with personal data written in Flutter?
Okay, so I just want to give you an example of that. There is one bank, I don't remember its name, which went live with Flutter. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I'm not remembering the name, but for second example that I have my personal experience as well. Right now, the company that I'm working at, it's creating its banking application in Flutter, and they are about to go live next month. So yes, Flutter is ready for production level security. The only idea behind security is most of the things that are implemented in security are implemented at the back end. So in front end, what you do is you only establish a very secure connection between your backend and your app. So the apps and it's is only the secure connection thing. So most of the data that is secure, card details and stuff like that, that is mostly recommended to be stored at backend. Even then, if you want to store something in Flutter in front end, so that you can do that. There are a lot of plugins available, and they are very much mature, and they even use the if you have if you are very worried about security, just use that secure storage package. That is the best solution I can just recommend, because it uses Android key store and underlying it, and iOS keychain underlying it, and those are the most secure things. They secure it using your package identifier, using your account, using your provisioning profile and things like that. So that is the best that I can recommend.